real cases before a real judge.
Plaintiff Donna Pasquale thought the defendant was just friends with her daughter, so Donna took him under her wing. However, when Donna's daughter was 16, she became pregnant with the defendant's baby. Donna says they are now engaged, and she's suing her daughter's fiancé for breach of contract. Defendant Richard Martinez says growing up, he was bullied by the neighborhood gangs, and eventually he got sick of being the prey. So he turned into the predator and joined the gang. Richard ended up turning his life around, but now he's paying all of the bills for Donna's daughter.
What's going on here?
Well, Your Honor, let me start off by saying that I met Richie originally when he was 16 years old. He had been thrown out of his house where he was living with his mother.
For what?
He was a little bit of an instigator, not going to school, he was hanging out with the wrong people. And he came to live at his uncle's house in my area from Queens to Long Island. And he was a friend of my daughter's. So I kind of took Richie under my wing. I liked him. I thought he was a good kid with good potential. And he was, at that time, supposedly supposed to be my daughter's girlfriend's boyfriend. Turns out that he's actually dating my daughter. P.S. To make a long story short, 1 year later, my daughter is 16 years old. And as a parent, I'm sure you can understand that I got the worst possible news that any mother could hear was that my daughter was pregnant. I was totally devastated because I treated Richie like he was my son. And my feelings just totally changed towards him at that point. I didn't want him anywhere near my house. He didn't see my daughter in the beginning of her pregnancy. I saw how devastated my daughter was by that. And eventually I allowed him back into the house after discussing with my husband because my husband was beyond reconcilable. So they've been together, and I thank God now I have a beautiful 2.5-year-old granddaughter.
Yeah.
Richie's turned into a good man. He's got a good job. He supports my daughter. He's a wonderful father. My granddaughter loves him to death. He takes care of them both. And he decided he wanted to get engaged. Okay. So he went and picked out a ring, and he had $5,000.
Plaintiff Donna Pasquale is suing her daughter's fiancé, who got her daughter pregnant when she was only 16.
Let me allow him to give some background.
Okay.
Well, basically, I've watched your show before, and I hear you say in the streets there's either the prey or the predator. Well, living in Queens, I was 15. I was basically the prey. I would come out of school, walk down the block, and a group of kids gang up on me. They call me names and eventually put a gun in my mouth and rob me for an orange juice and $10. 2 weeks later, same thing happens without the gun. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I want to be the predator. So I joined the neighborhood gang, basically running the streets. I did what those people did to me, to others. And I said, this has to stop now. It was getting out of control. And my uncle lived in the suburbs. He said, you could come live with me. Around that same time, I met the plaintiff's daughter. The thing I loved about her was that she cared.
Let me ask you, before you continue, did you finish high school?
No. So
what are you doing now?
I'm working full-time.
How old are you?
21.
What type of work?
Warehouse clerk.
Why didn't you finish high school?
My daughter was born.
That's been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And why couldn't you go to night school?
I couldn't.
Okay, I was just giving you a friendly suggestion. When that warehouse closes down and they send those jobs over to China, then you're going to be trying to apply for other jobs, and they're going to say, well, you got to have not only a high school diploma or GED, you have to have a skilled trade, associate's degree, or a bachelor's degree. Then what? Then your baby's really going to be...
Very hard, sir.
Yeah, so just a word of advice. That's why I wanted to stop you there. You're right. We have similar backgrounds. In fact, that's why I had to be such a wild and crazy kid, because they used to prey on me. And so I had to finally just start getting crazy. And so I became the leader. They said, oh, he's so crazy, we're going to make him the leader. So you better not mess with Gregory Mathis. No, he's the wrong one. He's crazy. But I was able, after coming out of jail, to get my GED and go to college. So that's a word from the wise. And got 4 kids. They all do all right. You follow me?
Yes.
So I don't want your kid to live in poverty if you lose your job. But I'm glad to hear that you take care of your child. You love your child. You love your fiance. And what about, you love her?
I love her. She's basically, you could say, my guardian angel. She took me out of the neighborhood I was in, put me in the suburbs, and got me a job.
So glad to hear you being grateful, despite today's lawsuit. So you're a real man. You're a man. Man among men. But you're going to pay if you're wrong today. Let's hear about this breach of contract you're suing him for.
I just want to also say that I do love Richie too. He treats my daughter wonderful. He's a great father. He's a good provider. He took up where I left off, taking care of my daughter.
Good.
She's very high maintenance. He decided that he wanted to get engaged to her just before Valentine's Day. They were going to my nephew's wedding on February 12th.
Now, you can't sue the man for breach of contract because he didn't marry your daughter, man.
No.
That's not what it's for.
He put $5,000 down on the ring.
Okay,
and he
that's
needed
something to do with
$1,500 to pick it up. So he asked me if I would lend him the money, and I said yes.
How much was the ring in total?
$6,500.
You put a lot of pressure on guys, man. $6,500 ring. The ladies who are watching, you better hope they don't press their men. And I saw Richard Martinez. He bought his woman a $6,500 ring. So don't you tell me what you can't do.
Well, this isn't the same Richard Martinez that I first met. He was more thuggy when I met him.
So you loaned him what?
So I loaned him $1,500 to pick up the ring so that he could propose to her. So after the proposal, my daughter, being the genius that she is, decided that she wanted to go wedding band shopping. So we went wedding band shopping, and she found a wedding band that was about over $4,000, I believe. So she put $850 down on the ring. So I wound up giving a total of $2,150 towards the ring. So on top of the $1,500 and the $2,150, I was supposed to be paid by July. And P.S., Mr. Martinez just got back from Miami in the Bahamas on a cruise that he went with my daughter Gina.
And
Mama hasn't been paid.
Plaintiff Donna Pasquale is suing her daughter's fiance, who got her daughter pregnant when she was only 16.
Mr. Martinez, you're out of the ghetto, it sounds like.
Yeah.
But you sound like you're still ghetto fabulous. That's what you call ghetto fabulous. You spend all your money on things that you want and can't pay for the things that you need to pay for. And by the way, you are paying all these thousands of dollars for rings. And how old is your child?
2.
2, all right. Have any money put away for the child?
Not yet.
Because either you're going to have to live in a decent neighborhood with a good school district, or you're going to have to send your child to private school.
He does, Your Honor. He lives with me.
Huh?
He lives with me in my house with my daughter and my granddaughter.
Now that's really ghetto fabulous. What's your defense, young man?
Well, the wedding band, I had no clue about, and she didn't give me a deadline.
You're a liar.
She said, give it to me when you have it.
No.
And
How much have you given her?
nothing.
Nothing.
But I don't have
And did you have it before you went to Miami?
Yes, but her daughter took my money and took me to Miami.
Yeah. Okay.
Blindfolded you?
Yeah. She twisted his arm, Your Honor.
Kind of.
Yeah. She twisted his arm.
That's not fair, sir, for you to do this to your soon-to-be mother-in-law, a woman that's so good to you all.
And Your Honor, I don't get no rent. I don't get no rent either. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love him and he's a good provider to my daughter and granddaughter, but I don't get no rent.
I pay all her daughter's bills. I have 2 brand new car payments, a 2011 car and a 2011. I have
And rims, right?
a Toyota and a Lexus.
And rims on them, no doubt. That's going to be where your money goes next.
Tinted windows,
To the rims.
iPhones.
Young man, I'm glad to hear you made it out, but you have to now learn to budget your money to be spent on the proper things. And the most important things are for you, your soon-to-be wife, to live as adults. When you're living with your soon-to-be mother-in-law, you're really not living as an adult. And when you're not budgeting your money properly, you're really living like a kid. That's what kids do. They go to the candy store and they spend all their money. When they know they should save some for the next day or for the weekend because they're going to want some more candy.
Your Honor, I cook perfectly good meals. I'll make pork chops and I'll make lasagna. And he goes out and buys McDonald's.
Sir,
I'm moving in.
You're moving in too? Yeah, that's a good deal.
You might as well because I've had everybody else.
Yeah, that's a good deal you got running. Yeah, she has a good deal going. Sir, pay your soon-to-be mother-in-law her money. Don't pop all your money off, all right? Good luck to you. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a
Thank you,
good
Your
day.
Honor. No hard feelings. I didn't bring you here for anything other than principle to teach you a lesson. And you know how I feel about you. You know that I still love you.
I love you too.